Hi, David.
Hi, Sarah.
I have a question that somebody asked, and actually we get asked this quite often, which is about neutral energy. And they're asking, is neutral energy the same as source energy? Or is it the same as universe energy or earth energy or 0 point energy? Or what do you mean by neutral energy anyway?
Okay, so we do use it as a universal energy. Okay, so we have a universal energy within us. Okay, so universal energy, source energy, it's basically the same thing. But when we use universal energy, we're making sure that it also includes us. Okay, it's so you're making sure that we're using us as a basis for the source. Okay, so the source has to run through us, if you like. Yeah. So when we use universal energy, yes, I think of it more as like when we're trying to make sure that the energy is, so yes, it's neutral, but think of it as more like when you're creating a generator. So we're trying to make sure that our energy generates. Okay. So it also means that we're using a neutral negative and a neutral positive at the same time. Okay. Which basically means, so you're a little bit like a generator, you know, if you used positive over positive and over negative energy, then they short out. Okay. But you can use larger versions of neutral energy, and you just create larger amounts of energy to be able to use. Also, it means that you can use different nuances of neutral energy. Now, the nuances come from the consciousness. Okay, so it's basically where it's neutral energy, neutral conscious, neutral mind, neutral memory, neutral matter. Okay, so what we're doing is we're making sure we have all conversions of ourselves, or all versions of ourselves. We make sure they're all neutral. So the more that they're neutral, the more that we can move everything simultaneously. So if we don't move, I mean, it's impossible to move everything simultaneously with your consciousness and with your connective consciousness unless everything is neutral, because otherwise we'll end up with all these little side cycles going on, which then become interfering. Yeah. So as we get all these neutral energies or versions of neutral, conscious, mind, memory, and they're all energies as well. Yeah. We have to make sure that they're all come coherent basically to the same version. Yeah. And then they all start to talk. And as they all start to talk and become coherent, then we start to create larger versions. And the more versions we have, the easier it is. And it's also the same that we can have greater conversations, because your souls, your spirit soul and your spirit heart will only talk with neutral energy. If your energy is over positive, over negative, you just don't get any reaction or response, or it will completely disengage, and it will short out, which means that's how we create our intuition. That's how we also create our instinct. So we need to learn what we know, what we need to know, what we don't need to know, and all cycles are of exactly the same importance. Yeah. And that's why it's very important that we have all that neutral cohesion and everything works simultaneously.
And then I just want to pop in earth energy, because we might have talked about this in another video, but from what my understanding is, we actually access universal energy when we ground.
That's right.
But earth energy is different from universal energy as well.
Completely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we use ground, when we ground with universal energy, not so much earth energy, okay? Because earth energy can be sort of easily fragmented or coerced, yeah? So when we use universal energy, it means that we become independent, yeah? And because otherwise, when we ground, there's that layer of earth energy that is often completely unconscious, and it picks up all the different forces that are going on in the world at that particular time. You know, it's like when COVID was on, it was really, really, really strong because everyone was going into, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. So it's like what you can't do, yeah, not what you can do. And we get different times, like when, you know, when wars break out or all different things happen, you know, political things happen or whatever, you know, even when good things happen, you know, everyone feels a
It's
bit
kind of like it
low.
all gets imprinted on
Yeah,
that first
it all
top
sits
layer.
in there, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we use the universal energy in its source, and it's basically a universal energy, we can cut straight through it. And it's like you have this, for the want of a better description, it's a bit like Get Smart. You know, you have a big code of silence, only it works. And it comes down because it makes you quiet, because you're not listening to all this chatter that comes from the collective unconscious, and you move through it. So you get a chance to be quiet, and then your energy's not shorting out here, there, and everywhere. So it just gives you a really easy way to use universal energy to start with.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, David.
You're welcome.